Today, we are making the most delicious gluten-free bread you've ever had in your life. And if you're thinking, wait a minute, gluten-free bread, delicious? Yes. Take this from an Italian from Brooklyn, New York. I grew up eating bread every single day. This recipe will change the game for you. If you're gluten-free, if you know somebody who's gluten-free, if you're just trying to eliminate a little bit of gluten from your life, or you simply just want the best bread recipe ever, I've got you covered today. Today's recipe is from my newest gluten-free ebook. If you would love a copy of this ebook for yourself, the link is down below to download it for absolutely free. So I'm going to go over to my recipe section. By the way, there's lots of other delicious things, such as these incredible chocolate donuts. Who doesn't want chocolate donuts? We are making this beauty. Actually, with the magic of editing, this is what we're making. So I'm gonna start by grabbing the ingredients that we need. This is very, very important, friends, okay? The kind of flour that we're gonna be using, do not substitute with a different type, because I've made lots of gluten-free bread and created lots of other recipes also. By far, this is the best. I will have linked below how you can pick up this flour. It's imported from Italy. And interestingly, the name of the company is Caputo. And that was where my favorite bread of all time in Brooklyn, that was the name of the bakery, was Caputo. So it just seemed like the stars aligned when I heard about this flour. So I will link it how you can grab it from Amazon below. We only need a handful of ingredients. We do not need a stand mixer. You need your hands. Super easy. Anybody can make this bread recipe. All you need is a kitchen scale. Tara, I thought you said that this was super easy and you don't need a lot. You don't. If you don't have a kitchen scale, why not? So I'm gonna grab my kitchen scale. They are really inexpensive, and I think I got this one on Amazon. If I can find the link for this, I'll link it because it's just super easy. So let's run through how we're gonna make this bread. It's gonna be amazing. Okay, I have zeroed out my scale, and now we are gonna add in 500 grams of this Fioricet flour. That's about half of the package if you buy the same size that I have. If you've never used a kitchen scale to bake, it really is so easy. Perfect. 500 grams. Now we're gonna remove that. Trust me, you wanna use little bowls for this because it's just so much easier. So now we're gonna need, zero it out, 5 grams of Active Dry Yeast. Oops. Let's dump a little bit out. Perfect, 5 grams. Okay, so just to show you, we're gonna take the yeast, pour it inside there. And now if you know me, you know that this is a huge joke because I absolutely do not think chocolate and peanut butter go together, and definitely not candy like this because I'm all about health. So we're just mixing it together just to evenly disperse the yeast. Okay. That's good enough. We're gonna set that aside. Now we're gonna need 400 grams of water. And we're gonna want this water to be lukewarm. So a trick I'm gonna do to not waste more dishes is I've zeroed out my scale, and now I'm gonna just grab my pitcher and I'm gonna guesstimate, and I've gotten pretty good at this, if I say so myself. We want 400 grams. Friends, I've got to show you this because you're not going to believe it. I said we needed 400 grams. That's exactly what it is, 400 grams. I told you, I've gotten really good at this. Okay, the other thing we want to make sure is that the water is not too hot. So just using like a thermometer, I'm gonna just check the temperature. Well, my battery might have finally died on this thing. Okay, well that doesn't work. So I'm gonna just check the temperature, and we want it to be like lukewarm. You don't want it to be cold, but you don't want it to be, you wanna make sure that it's lukewarm. Okay, so now we're gonna just simply add the water and just add all of it because you're good. Now we're gonna stir it, but what I like to do is to take a little bit of olive oil and just coat just a little bit, because it's gonna stick otherwise, and we're gonna need olive oil here in a minute anyway. Okay, so now we're just stirring. We're gonna start with this, and then we're gonna end up moving to our hands here in a minute, which is really fun. Just make sure your hands are clean. So now I'm gonna zero my scale out again, and we are gonna measure out 10 grams of salt. It's a lot more salt than you think, but it's a whole loaf of bread. You don't wanna skip the salt. I'm also gonna switch this out, and we're gonna measure out 12 grams of olive oil so that we're ready. Oops, okay. I got a little bit more, but that's okay because I'm gonna coat my spoon, and a little bit of extra olive oil is delicious. Okay, so we're done with the scale, hooray. Going back to our bowl, we're gonna add in that pink salt. You can use any kind of salt, but I like the pink salt. You're gonna add in that olive oil, and I'm gonna just save a tiny drop and do this. Perfect. Again, it's just gonna make it easier. Okay, and now we're gonna stir everything together, and actually, I'm gonna use my hands. So let me take that ring off. I'm actually gonna use a little bit more olive oil, and I'm gonna show you what I mean. Olive oil is our friends, especially with baking. So this is such an easy recipe to make. I've made this recipe on vacation. We took our grandson to Chattanooga, Tennessee, just for so much fun for like an extended weekend. And we brought the flour with us. We brought the supplies. Of course, I brought the kitchen scale, and we whipped this up. We made hamburger buns, we made bread. You can make focaccia. It's a slightly different recipe. If you're interested in learning how to make focaccia, let me know in the comments below. I will make you a recipe video for that. Okay, so you can see how this is really coming together. Like really, this just looks amazing. So good. Okay, you can also kind of feel it with your hands that there's not any kind of like clumps. If you've never done anything like this before, please don't be intimidated. It's so easy. And I've made bread so many times in a stand mixer, and even though the mixer's doing it, this is easier. It's just so easy. Okay, so now I've kind of got it in. It's really nicely combined, and all we're gonna do, obviously I'm gonna wash my hands, but we're gonna take a towel and we're gonna cover it, and then we're gonna set a timer for 10 minutes. Alexa, set a timer for 10 minutes.
10 minutes, 7 now.
And now we wait 10 minutes. I did wanna show you what the bread looks, the flour looks like the package, so that you make sure you get the right one. Of course, if you use my link below, you will get the right one. But let's go into my pantry, and do not judge me, friends. We are in complete home renovation mode, and if you've been following me for a while, then, let me get myself centered here, then you know already that I've been renovating for years, but now it's actually happening. Like lots of stuff is happening. So this right here, this is what you want. And actually I'm gonna switch to the other view because this wants to track my face. So this is what you want, Caputo's. Oh boy, I said Fioricet, it's Fiora Glute, okay? Gluten-free flour. I have made this for friends of mine with celiac. This is imported from Italy. This is gluten-free flour, but it does contain wheat starch, which is very weird to say, but they have removed the gluten. So obviously take precautions for yourself, but like I said, I have made this for friends of mine with celiac, and there was no issues. But always do your own research and make sure it's what you want to do. So Alexa, how many minutes are on my timer?
You have 6 minutes and 50 seconds left on the 10-minute timer.
This is the easiest bread recipe you will ever make. And if you've made gluten-free bread before, like what was your experience with it? Was it like cardboard or tasteless? Was the texture wrong? Let me know. Or if you have an amazing recipe, I would love to know what your recipe is in the comments. Okay, so it's been 10 minutes. Now what we're gonna do is we are gonna turn it out onto the counter. Of course, my counter is clean, okay? I'm also gonna take, whoa. Told you we love olive oil here. Take some olive oil, okay? That's a lot. I didn't need that much. Okay. And we are going to just knead this. When I say that this is really, really easy, it is. You don't have to get crazy here, okay? Essentially, what we're looking to do is create one giant meatball. You're looking like if you see imperfections, it's going to be whatever it looks like is going to be the shape. So if it's a weird, messed up looking shape, it's going to look like that when it's done. So look at how nice and smooth this looks. I'm literally just turning and turning, and you can see over here, you see how it's just really coming together. Okay. So we've got our meatball ready. Now what we're gonna do, I have one of these awesome like dough risings, and what is this called? A bread basket, a dough basket. If you don't have that, you can just use a bowl. And I just put this cover that it came with. Look, I make bread so much. Look, I got a hole in there, but that's fine. Inside of here, I'm gonna put a little bit of flour. We don't need a lot, just a little bit. I'm gonna dump some out because, all right. So we've got our bowl, we've got our dough ball. We're literally gonna pick it up, and plop it right in there, just like that. How easy is that? Let me wash my hands again, it's the name of the game. And I just have this cheesecloth, and we're just gonna cover it. Okay, and now I'm gonna show you what we're gonna do with it. Come with me. I'm gonna use my toaster oven. I'll have to take this rack out. Just set that on top. Don't judge me from my toaster oven either. Just don't judge me at all, okay? We're gonna stick it inside of here, and I know what you're thinking, that's a fire hazard. Well, you can use aluminum foil on top if you prefer, but I have done this, I'm not leaving the house, obviously. I've done this so many times, and I feel comfortable doing this. And yeah, that's wood in there. I'm only proofing, okay? I'm not actually cooking this inside of there. So I'm gonna go to my settings on this, and we're gonna go to proof. And it's that easy, okay? I'm just gonna leave it in there. It's gonna do its thing. It's gonna rise for an hour. If you don't have the capacity to do this, you could throw it in your Instant Pot. I've done that lots of times. If you wanna proof it there, or just set it over on the side somewhere and proof it in a warm spot in your house. That works also. So now what we're gonna do, because we have about 4 minutes left, and I'll show you, About 4 minutes left of our hour, and look at how that dough ball has been rising. It's pretty awesome. And so since we have about 4 minutes left, what we want to start doing, I actually should have done this a little bit sooner, is to get our oven ready. So I'm going to show you. So inside of my oven, I have my Dutch oven, okay, with a lid on it. This is very, very important. So now we're gonna set it for 450 degrees. Okay, my oven heats up really quick. If you don't have a Dutch oven, another thing that you could use, and I've done this a lot of times and it actually works really great, would be to use something like a cast iron pizza pan. Even a cast iron skillet would work. If you don't have that, you could use a pizza stone. I like it with a lid better. I think it comes out better with a Dutch oven with a lid, and then it's really super easy. You wait till you see how easy this is. But in a pinch, go ahead and use something else because it's still gonna be amazing. I didn't bring my Dutch oven when we all went to Chattanooga. I actually brought the cast iron skillet, and I made this bread on it. I made hamburger buns. I think I made hot dog buns also. It's so incredibly easy. I can't wait for you guys to try this bread. Okay, so now we're gonna just wait for the oven to heat up, and then I'm gonna show you the next step. So I'm about to get the dough that's been proofing for just a little bit over an hour out of the toaster, but I did grab a piece of parchment paper. It's really so easy, my friends. So I'm gonna set this parchment paper on the side. My oven is almost preheated, so I'm gonna grab this out of the oven because I have another, and I'll just bend down here, maybe you could see it. I have another dough ball because I love bread, so we're gonna make sure we have enough. So look at this amazing dough. Look at how airy and amazing it looks. Take our parchment paper and literally put it right over it. That's how easy. I'm actually gonna take it out just for time's sake, but you give it a full preheat when you're doing it this way, it's better. Okay, remember all of this is very, very, very hot, so don't touch it. We're going to take and turn it over. Our beautiful dough ball. I'm gonna bring you over here so that you can see what I'm about to do. Grab a knife, and really any knife that you want to use. And what we're gonna do is literally make a design. If I was using gluten bread, we could really get fun with this. I've seen some amazing Instagram and TikTok videos where they're like fanning it out with like a razor blade. I haven't tried that. Maybe I will sometime, but we want to do this because it's gonna, oh, my oven's done, because it's gonna help it to cook evenly, and it's gonna make a really, really pretty bread. Okay, now we're gonna get the lid back on. Get this into the oven. Whew, it's hot in there. Alexa, set a timer for 30 minutes.
30 minutes, starting now.
Just that easy, friends. Same basket. Same basket. I'm not even putting any extra flour in. I'm gonna take this, of course it started sticking, this other dough ball and put it right in there, just like we did with the other one. It's this easy. It's like an assembly line of bread. So in 30 minutes, I will meet you right back here and show you the next step. Okay, so the timer just went off, so now we need to just remove the lid of our Dutch oven. So let me show you. Whoo! Can you feel that heat? Friends, you're gonna go crazy when you see this. Woo! Look at that beauty. She's a beaut. Okay, now we leave it in there 10 more minutes uncovered. The last step is to set it to broil, and we're gonna broil for 5 minutes. Alexa, set a timer for 5 minutes. It's ready to take it out of the oven, so let's see how we did, huh? Turn that off. That is a beautiful loaf of bread. Okay, so now, carefully, we are going to take the bread out. This is extremely hot. You do not want to touch that pan. Got our absolutely beautiful, I'm gonna reuse this parchment paper with the next loaf. So I am gonna set this back in the oven, but in a second. You know you're dying to see this bread. Let it cool completely, friends. Absolutely need to let this cool. If you enjoyed today's super easy and delicious Italian bread recipe, give this video a big thumbs up. That way I'll know to make more recipes like it. If you know anyone in your life that has been suffering because they're gluten-free, I gotta set this down, it's really hot. If you know anyone in your life that's suffering because they're gluten-free and they just are not loving a bread these days, share this recipe with them and anyone else that you feel might benefit. Subscribe for more fun, easy to make recipes. Thanks so much for spending time with me today, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, friends.